Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Manic Movie Misfits podcast. I am your co-host, El Juan.
Hello, I'm the other guy, Trevor.
That's right. Also, I just want to say something here real quickly. I like when people say Juan and not Juan. Juan.
Juan?
Yeah.
I like that.
This is the Manic Movie Misfits podcast, and on today's episode, we are going to be... We are using a tier list to rank the movies that we have both watched in 2023.
Yeah, it's our year in review episode, I guess.
Year in review episode, talk about all our thoughts from last year's movies. I'm looking at it now. I totally forgot Creed 3 was 2023, but it was. Yeah. And yeah, I'm really excited, TJ. I love these episodes. What did we do before? Oh, we just kind of ranked them, didn't we? We did our top fives, I think, before.
We did top fives and then just kind of like here and there, kind of like this is what we liked and didn't like. And then we've only done like one other tier episode and we didn't show it visually or anything like that, which if you're watching, you'll probably be able to see.
Yes,
depending on if it was a pain or not to send.
Yes, because technology is a good thing.
We love it.
We love it for the most part. There's some exceptions, like when replicants come and take some humans out, but
yeah. Depends on the day.
Depends on the day. In this case, we like it.
Yeah.
So in the bottom corner of the screen, you're going to see the tier list as we're building it and ranking and placing all these movies. You'll be able to see it, which will be cool on the video version on our YouTube.
Yeah.
If you don't want to watch the visual version, it's totally cool.
Yeah, we'll commentate it pretty well. Or like we think we hope to.
We hope to, maybe not. I might just hit TJ with a tack hammer and the episode's over.
Please don't destroy my computer. It is time for an upgrade, but still. But
maybe I'll just hit TJ with a tack hammer and the episode will be over in 5 minutes.
That too. But the tier list, it consists of movies we've talked about and some we haven't really talked about at all. But yeah, it should be fun. It should be interesting.
I'm excited. You're exactly right, TJ. I think will be really fun is talking about the movies that we haven't talked about.
Yeah, together,
and seeing how wrong you are about those movies.
Listen, I try.
The other thing I was going to say was you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play. Obviously, YouTube, places. All the podcast places. We have a YouTube page, Manic Movie Misfits Pod. If you search up the Manic Movie Misfits podcast, you'll also find it. It'll also come up. But I bet
if you just look up Manic Movie Misfits, it'll come up search results anyway.
Yeah. We have a whopping 73 followers, I'm pretty sure, last time I checked. So, road to 100, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to happen.
God damn it. I was like... It's too good to be true.
It always happens like that.
5 minutes in.
Before I was rudely interrupted by a furnace. No, we're not in any Minecraft world.
I'm more of a crafting table kind of guy.
Why am I excited for the Jason Momoa Minecraft movie with the director of Napoleon Dynamite?
I don't know. I kind of am too.
Oh, it's going to be a meme. It's going to be glorious, probably.
Here's hoping it's better than the Borderlands one.
Honestly, okay, I haven't seen any other movies from the director of Napoleon Dynamite, but I love Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah. So if it has that artistic flair to it,
it might be fun.
It actually could be really fun.
Yeah, I've only seen part of Nacho Libre.
Okay.
I haven't seen like anything else from him. I've probably seen only like 15 minutes of that movie, and I was like, it's all right. I can see why people like it, but I've just never been in the mood to watch it. So
it's one of those movies that it seems there's a lot of pop culture meme moments.
Yeah.
That make the movie, that give it its longevity.
Yeah, it was super famous in like high school, and everyone was like, we have the ability to watch Nacho Libre, and everyone I knew loved it. And I'm like, I've never seen this. And apparently it was like some cardinal sin.
Yeah. I would say, again, I haven't seen Nacho Libre. I would say from an artistic standpoint and just an overall movie standpoint, Napoleon Dynamite would be better. I would definitely imagine that.
Way better.
Yeah.
But, that's like easily his most popular movie. regardless, we should probably talk about 2023 movies.
Probably should. So let's set up 2023. What was the year 2023? What was some of the big headlines in 2023? I think immediately everyone wants to go to Barbenheimer.
Yeah, for film, Barbenheimer was the big thing.
I thought it was really cool to see a movement like that for non-Marvel movies because, again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but...
Oh, we will. I mean, there's a few Marvel movies in here.
Well, it's true. But I'm talking about the storyline of, there's so many Marvel movies. We need to cut back on Marvel movies. Marvel movies are on the downhill. They're not going to ever return. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is it was nice to get a break from them.
It was nice to have something that was super huge, super successful, that wasn't just Marvel. And I'm the same way. It was so super nice to see, and like, it's definitely like trended the blockbuster, like non-Marvel blockbuster into like a new thing, and I feel like we're starting to see that more with like Dune, which I mean we just saw.
What's the next episode? Or what's the? I should say what was? Well, because this episode is going to come after Dune, so I'm trying. Which we are going to be I will say we are going to be talking about Dune Part 2. We're going to have an episode just for Dune Part 2, ladies and gentlemen. TJ reminded me.
Yeah,
it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, but I feel like there's more like positivity and more like enthusiasm for those kinds of movies, and not just here's Iron Man and Captain America and XYZ superhero movies, which I mean, great. They had their time in the sun, but now it's time for them to kind of start to fade.
We talked about the pendulum, right? Last episode, how things kind of swing back and forth, what's popular, what's working, what's not.
Yeah.
And in that particular case, we were talking about... John is about to interrupt our podcast episode, ladies and gentlemen, so...
This boy.
He's going to add some commentary. He's seen a few of the movies.
He has.
That'll be good.
Is he here?
He is here. But where I was going with that is... This is about to get interesting real quickly here because there's a camera behind a door.
That is true. Don't break the camera, please. Should we set up the other mic for him?
Yeah, we can do that. We will be right back. The problem is when you have sticky notes, especially if they're sharp and stiff on the sides instead of at the top, you get paper cuts.
Do not disturb, please.
You know what, John?
This is a movie theater.
Yeah.
You know what? Fine.
You're that guy. You're the people who sat next to me last night.
And the guy who sat next to me too.
Oh, he was on his phone. The people next to me were just talking. So.
And then the lady in front of us.
Dude, she was pirating the whole movie on her tablet. Did you see that?
Which she was?
Like so she was on FaceTime with like her entire family in the beginning. Like honestly during the preview, so not like during the movie.
Well, yeah, because I turned to John. I'm like, is that lady on Discord? We're like, oh, she is. And John turned to Will and she goes, dude, this lady's on Discord. He's got memeing about for like the following 5 minutes.
No, I wish I sat next to you guys because I had so many things I wanted to say. Let me just crack you guys in.
Oh my God.
That we're going to be talking about Dune 2, as we said before, ladies and gentlemen, in its own episode. We're just going to talk about it just for one episode. It gets its own thing. Today, right, we're going to be ranking these 2023 movies, and I just got, before John interrupted us,
sorry.
I was talking about how this is the year truly where we're starting, the momentum was building in 2022, and in 2023 we're really starting to separate from the Marvel taking over everything years. Which was, obviously the 2010s, a little bit before. We're really the 2010s. The 2010s is what they were. We're finally breaking away completely from that in 2023, and again, it isn't better exemplified than in the Barbenheimer hype and pop culture phenomenon that it was.
Exactly. Both those movies making close to, if not $1 billion a piece. It's impressive.
Coupled with, again, the Marvel movies that were in 2023 failing.
Only one of them.
Guardians did well.
Yeah.
Because Guardians, I think, didn't it hit over $1 billion? I think it did.
I think it did too.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It did.
Speaking of which is our first movie.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
John, did you see Guardians?
I did.
Thoughts, opinions?
I'm gonna have to preface in saying that this was a very interesting time in my life. This was the day I was going through a breakup, and so I was just in this ethereal state of mind. But the soundtrack got me through it, so 10 out of 10 movie.
Dude.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, for those who don't know, our categories are the best, damn good, good, meh, and the worst.
I was hoping you would do damn fine. Excuse me, this is a damn fine cup of coffee.
That's what I can change it.
TJ's an idiot.
Is this a damn fine roast turkey? Or I don't know the references, but...
Okay, this is something I hadn't brought up to you guys, but I'm kind of totally down for a Twin Peaks watch along for the podcast, where we just watch 3 episodes and talk about them on the podcast for however long we want.
I'm totally here for it.
I'm kind of like down.
There we go.
That'd be an epic Saturday.
Hell yeah. Okay, that's something that might now happen, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, be prepared.
But John, that is a sad yet also wholesome...
A bittersweet tale
for Guardians 3.
And fitting for the story itself, if I recall.
Yeah, true, with Gamora and Star-Lord. Yeah. Again, a lot of the stuff TJ and I are saying, we've said obviously before in podcast episodes talking about these movies, if we did talk about them on an episode.
We definitely talked about this one.
I'm a big Guardians guy. Guardians are my favorite group in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It includes some of my favorite performances throughout the 3 movies. And I loved how unique their identity was to the rest of the Marvel characters.
Yeah.
This movie didn't deliver for me like I thought it would compared to the other 2. I think there's a lot of things it did well, but I think there's a lot of things that I was missing that I was hoping to get from the finishing of this trilogy with these characters. I will say one of my biggest gripes with this film was what I love to see in a television show or in any media that sticks with characters for a long time is I like to see that time and the relationships that we built with these characters, I like it paying off.
Yeah.
In certain ways that worked. The Gamora and Star-Lord thing is exactly that. It worked well. That was very heartfelt because we were with those characters for a long time and we saw how that relationship changed due to the Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Rocket's story and the main villain in Guardians 3, it did not work for me because the individual performance I thought was like fun and entertaining, but the actual makeup of the villain and the storyline for him did not work for me because they kind of just brought it in and were like, "Hey, you're supposed to care about this backstory and this villain." But it didn't have any hooks into us prior. Well, and to me, if you're going to spend time with characters and you're going to do that, I want to see that because that's so satisfying. Whether it's sad or happy, is seeing that finishing touch where you have, so this is what this was building up to, this journey with these characters.
Yeah. On
some levels, I saw that, Gamora, Star-Lord. Other levels, I didn't, with Rocket and the main villain in Guardians 3.
That was a lot.
Sorry. But yeah, that's the main thing I want to say, TJ. What did you think?
I mean, I thought it was good. Hot take, I've never been the biggest Guardians person. I'm starting to come around.
Okay.
But this was like the first big one I'd seen, and the first time I'd seen it probably since I watched the second one. And I never really looked back on it that much. But for what it was a fun movie. It was really well put together. I think a lot of it was just like, I had fun with a lot of it, but like there's parts of the writing where it's just like things come out of nowhere. I'm like, dog, you haven't mentioned any of your motivation until the last 2 minutes of the movie. Not good writing, if I'm being honest. I liked it for the most part.
How dare you insult James Gunn, TJ?
Mr. Gunn, I'm sorry, but it's not good. But yeah, I mean, I gave like a 3-star or something like that. So like, I liked it for the most part, but it had its obvious flaws in my opinion.
What's y'all's favorite Guardians movie?
First one.
Probably first one.
Yeah, same.
I haven't seen it probably since 2014, but
I think the best villain though is the second, Kurt Russell's villain.
Oh yeah, 100%.
See, that is exactly my point that I was just making. Kurt Russell is a villain that has his hooks in the characters prior to that movie.
Yeah.
There is, right, you have that paternal relationship. It's there, it exists. And that's part of the reason why he makes such a good villain for that movie.
Yeah.
Didn't quite get that with Guardians 3. I think, again, I have to look at the
Oh yeah.
things again.
I'll turn up the brightness. I like my computer like really low.
He's Batman. He likes being in the dark, TJ.
I do. I would say good.
Yeah, I agree. Good.
Yeah,
John?
Good.
Good.
Yeah. Good soundtrack.
Yes.
Need some more.
There we go. Number 2, Cocaine Bear.
Didn't watch it.
Okay. It's something. It does exist. There is a CGI bear that does ingest a lot of cocaine.
It's great. Parts of it are good. Parts of it are just ass.
Yeah.
I'd put it in meh, personally. I think like there's parts of it. The first like half of the movie's kind of funny in my opinion. Then like the ending kind of sucks.
They did a good job with the aesthetic of it. I
That
can't
too.
remember if it was it 80s or 90s.
80s.
80s, yeah.
like
They did a
early
good job with
80s.
the 80s aesthetic. I
Yeah.
definitely dug that. That's just like a soft spot for me because I love 80s classic rock and that decade, my favorite television show from that decade, my favorite movie from that decade. But yeah, I think I would agree, TJ. Meh.
The guy and his dog is the bane of my existence.
Ferrari, we just talked about recently.
Yeah.
So John is a Michael Mann hater. No, I'm just kidding. I just give him a hard time about Thief. No, I recognize that my love for Thief can be too much at points. I get it, but anyway,
Yeah.
Ferrari.
It do be like it is.
Ferrari, it do be like it is. Paired my favorite current actor with my favorite director all time. So Adam Driver and Michael Mann together, which please team up again for Heat 2. Please. Play Neil McCauley. Young Neil McCauley. This movie had several touches that I liked. It had the staple Michael Mann the motif of there's this guy or gal that is trying to succeed at the highest level, and there are forces outside of him that are trying to stop him or her from doing that.
Yeah.
It has that, and I thought that was done well because you have a very good vehicle in Adam Driver to do that, who's a great actor. But there are other parts of the movie that I had issues with, like the pace of the movie, among other things, was just kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, I know it was an independent movie, but the CGI kind of took me out of it at points when they used it. That was just bad. What are your thoughts, TJ, on Ferrari?
It was overall it was a decent watch. I didn't think it was like the best of the year or anything like that, but like you have good acting, you have a decent premise and like good director and stuff like that. But yeah, it definitely has its pacing problems and writing problems and stuff like that. So not great. I'd say good.
Yes, agreed.
John, what's it?
Penelope Cruz, great performance. Good performance.
Yeah,
Adam Driver, good performance. What did you think of their chemistry, TJ?
they are pretty good.
Yeah, I thought the chemistry was good.
Yeah,
The chemistry was good. The racing scenes themselves were good.
super cool.
Yes. I mean, we kind of expected that, given that it was Michael Mann.
Yeah.
He's going to be practical in as many ways as possible. Yeah. Good movie.
What's the next movie you've seen on here?
Yes.
Astro City.
Oh, you have seen Astro City?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Perfection. John, what are your thoughts on Asteroid City?
Honestly, I love Wes Anderson, so this is going to be a little biased, but I don't know. It was very visually pleasing.
Okay.
Everything you look for in a Wes Anderson. I mean, just like the quick, dry humor is just iconic. Although I don't think it was his best, I think there was just parts to the plot. I mean, there weren't necessarily plot issues. I think it just lacked the spark that most of his films do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, overall, like a fun watch, and I don't regret watching it, but I don't think there was anything that put it above his others.
Yeah, I kind of am on a similar boat with you. The one
I'm
thing,
on the same thing as too.
yeah. What kind of boat are we on? Is it a cruise ship? Is it a yacht?
I think it's a dinghy.
I think it's a melange minor, personally.
So we're not on a boat. We're just straight up in the middle of the desert on Arrakis.
I mean, a desert of sand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the one thing I'll say is I liked how he was commenting on the industry that he's obviously in, with the movie industry and the writing industry and things like that, when you had the black and white scenes with Edward Norton. I also, the color palette was my favorite color palette of any Wes Anderson movie, in my opinion. I loved the blue. Oh my gosh, the blue with like the desert orange kind of coloring was...
Oh yeah, all the like...
Yellow was
the
sick.
blue pastels and stuff like that. Like,
Oof.
It was fun.
It was. I also found the relationships to be really cool. Like the different relationships that you saw throughout this community that was obviously stranded here because of the... Why were they? Because it was the nuclear warning or something like that they couldn't leave. Why couldn't they leave? Remember?
Oh God, I can't remember.
Why couldn't they leave?
Because they saw the alien thing, and so they had
Right.
to, like, not tell anyone.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
So the relationships that were built and formed between different characters, I thought was cool and something that, from the Wes Anderson movies that I saw, stood out. Now, I'm not saying other Wes Anderson movies didn't do that, but this one was more interesting to me than the other ones. Not saying it was a better movie, but yeah, I would say it's not above something like Fantastic Mr. Fox or The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, like, I really liked it for a lot of points, and then like there's parts where I felt it was like a little too heady, or like it was a little too like into its like own thing, and it's just like parts of it just didn't make sense, and it was like, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the just like that and French Connection, French Dispatch kind of have the same problem where it's like sometimes it's a little too much Wes, and it's like for the best and for the worst in terms of writing, and I think that's kind of like my biggest gripe with it. But I mean, like acting wise and all that, it's pretty good for a Wes Anderson movie.
What did you think about the black and white sections, TJ and John, and his comments on the industry that he obviously works in? Did you think it was too much? Do you think that like he kind of took that too far, the black and white sections, or do you think they spliced in nicely with the story, the main story?
I think they fit in pretty well, like in terms of like pacing of the movie.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of like occasionally where it's like I think that the movie itself got a little too heady, or it was like a little too on the nose, or it was a little too out there. It was like it was either one of each for some of the scenes, and it was like, all right, I get it. You don't have to be too like in my face about it. But like I think like the idea of it's really well, and like I think the comedy of it's still there and all that. But that's just me.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like the as unique of a content creator as Wes Anderson is, I felt like this was just a little too formulaic. I think looking back to like the story within a story, you know, Grand Budapest Hotel, for example, starts out, you know, reading a book and then goes into this thing. And so I guess he took that to the next level, which I thought could be cool. I think the execution was just a little strange. It kind of took me out of what I was getting interested in. I mean, I never wanted to be pulled out of that color palette, though maybe because he just kind of gave you bits and pieces of that color palette, it just left you wanting more. So maybe that was intentional, but I don't know. I felt like if it was just the asteroid city itself, I thought I would have been perfectly fine with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing here is this is a good movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I give it good. We have yet to find a damn fine movie.
And
The Flash.
We'll get it with the Flash.
I think,
worry.
yeah.
You watched The Flash, John, did you?
Twice.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know why.
I did rewatch part of it recently, actually.
Oh, God.
It's
the only
Such a
redeeming
waste of time.
quality for me with this movie was Michael Keaton, pretty much.
yeah.
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 Michael Keaton was good, and I will say Supergirl had some good moments too. But other than that, I was just kind of...
Yeah. It had its occasional funny joke. It had its occasional decent idea and performance, but most of it's not great.
Speaking of 2023, remember when Tom Cruise came out and said this is like a masterpiece and the greatest thing he ever watched?
Yeah. That was
What?
a thing.
The Flash?
He said that.
Pre-release of this movie.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
I
like
don't understand that guy.
Tom Cruise and then, I mean, James Gunn, who works for DC now, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, he still stands by that, like, that's the best movie of last year.
Wow.
And I'm like, dog, you could not be more wrong.
It's great publicity.
Yeah,
it gets them the attention.
To
True.
each their own, but like, no.
No, not this one. This one's just a waste of time.
Mm-mm.
But, I mean, like John said, it pays homage to Michael Keaton Batman, so I thought that was cool.
That was
Yeah.
cool. It was cool to see him come back, especially after the Batman Beyond live action movie got canned, which a lot of people thought he was going to be the older Bruce Wayne
Yeah.
in Batman Beyond. For those that don't know, including John.
Yep.
It's fine.
I'm with you, audience.
Batman Beyond
Stand strong.
was an animated show that took place after the Batman animated show, the 90s one, where Bruce Wayne, I can't remember the name of the new Batman, but Bruce Wayne kind of brings in a new young guy that becomes his own version of Batman, essentially.
Is it Terry McGinnis?
Yeah, that sounds right. TJ got it right.
I strive for perfection.
Yes!
Sorry. Perfection in my craft. It's all right, Sean.
I'll be careful next time.
It's okay. I don't mind. The thing is, I said this, I should have said this before, I have to go through the whole episode anyway. When I edit.
You get
I get to. That's true. Thank you. Positivity.
positivity.
Hell yeah.
He doesn't have to. He gets to.
I get to. I will say it's actually quite fun. I do enjoy
Yeah.
listening to us talk, actually. So that's kind of why. Otherwise, if I didn't enjoy listening to us talk, I don't know why we're doing this.
We have a word for this. It's called narcissism.
Yes.
Anyway, they were going to do a Batman Beyond movie. It got canned,
Yeah.
which made Michael Keaton's appearance in The Flash pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because
Even
of that.
more cool.
Yeah.
I'd say meh.
Yeah, I'd go mad just in honor of our guy, Michael.
If we're putting Cocaine Bear in meh, I gotta put the Flash in meh.
Facts.
Yeah.
Bro.
Okay, to preface the Iron Claw, I'll introduce this one. I wake up, I haven't said it yet. Please don't play it again. I wake up, I think it was like Saturday morning, and I get this call, and John's like, so I'm on my way now, where are you? And I was like, where? So I totally forgot we were going to see Iron Claw. And I still feel horrible for that, so I'm sorry, guys. I'll make it
You son of a bitch.
I know.
I'm trying to be a better person. So
a more genuine person.
Doesn't mean you have to be
Doesn't
a
mean you
good
have to be a
person.
good person. Be who you really are.
no, I've forgiven John at this point. I think the joke can die. I showed TJ. TJ got to see it with me again. I watched it for a second time with TJ when he was watching it first. Still don't know how this movie didn't get a single Oscar nomination.
Are you serious?
Zero.
Not a one.
Which this episode came out. We actually did an episode recently on the Iron Claw, ladies and gentlemen.
did.
So if you want to check that out, it's a real recent episode. Go ahead and listen to that because we go into great detail about our thoughts on the Iron Claw. A very unique movie, not only in 2023, but also just in sports movies in general. There's dealing with a lot of things that are quote-unquote artsy that aren't in your average sports movie, whether it's the cinematography or the attention to detail when it comes to the relationships of these brothers. There is an environment that they build with these very intimate relationships that just don't exist in your standard sports movie, even when those sports movies are trying to do exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the great actors involved. I mean, you literally, dude, stacked movie.
No
Zac
kidding.
Efron, Jeremy Allen White, who is red hot right now, red hot right now. And what's his name? Hunter Dickinson, right?
Yeah.
Hunter Dickinson, great actor too. Triangle of Sadness, among other things. And you have some great character actors as well that are supporting them, including the father, who I can't remember the name of for the actor.
Mindhunter guy.
Thank you, TJ. Mindhunter and David Fincher guy, because he's in Zodiac as well.
He is.
Which John and I watched the movie together. Absolute incredible movie.
We watched that to start the night.
Oh, I know. we kind of just threw it on casually, bro. We're just like, oh, let's just watch this.
Kind of talking through half of it, and they were like, "Oh my god!"
Every time I see that movie, it's so good.
It's so brilliant.
So brilliant.
And they finally found the guy, like recently, right? Well, they confirmed it was him. Although he already died.
Yeah. Because the end is okay. I don't mean to go on a tangent here, but we shouldn't say that because we're gonna spoil the movie anyway. Yeah, great actors, great performances. If there was one Oscar nom, TJ, I would like to see Zac Efron get one for Best Actor. I don't know your thoughts on that.
I'd say Sam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like one for the movie. Definitely that.
Yeah. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I don't really think there's anything wrong with it. Very minor things.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things that I didn't highlight, TJ, that you enjoyed about it?
I mean, it's just a really well put together film overall. I mean, great acting, great directing, great writing.
Yes.
Just like everything you want out of a good, not just like period movie, but like sports movie, like relationship kind of movie. It's great. I loved it. It's a damn fine movie.
Yeah, I know this would come to it. This is where I'm going to have to choose where I want to fight and where I want to...
Pick your battles. We can have more in the best if you want.
Okay, here's what we'll do. For now, I agree. Let's put it in damn fine.
Okay.
But depending on how many movies and what kind of movies we have in the best, I might try and vouch for it as the best.
Oh, I'm here for vouching for the best.
Are we trying to put the same number in each?
No.
It's just wherever we're feeling.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we'll come back to it at the very end, briefly. Very briefly.
We can do that.
Oh, boy.
What's this one?
Fast X.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen it.
When I say, people joke about, oh, this movie or this book, whatever, took years off my life. No, I am 99% certain that unironically took years off my life. Battlefield Earth.
Yeah,
actually.
Oh, yeah. I think I've just hit this point where I have to show all my friends the worst movie they've ever seen. Because with you guys, it's Battlefield Earth.
Yeah.
With Tyler, it's Fan Four Stick.
Okay.
He viscerally hates that movie now. And I'm like, this is my new life goal, is to like introduce the worst movie ever made to someone's life.
Speaking of absolutely terrible movies, Fast 10.
I love this movie.
A little backstory with the Fast and Furious movies for us, I think is needed, TJ.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about Fast and Furious in a while.
No, and I think it would actually be kind of a fun episode to do a tier list of the Fast and Furious movies, because for both of us, because we've talked about it before, we actually really enjoy a lot of the Fast and Furious movies.
Oh yeah, they're always super fun. Even the bad ones like have super fun moments. But yeah, we binged them before 9, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So a few years ago, and we watched 10 in IMAX this year, and boy howdy, it was awesome.
Yeah, I'm surprised I'm so passionate about these movies, but somehow I am.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed where they went after 5 for the most part.
Yeah.
It's just 5 was such a perfect. I think 5 is a legitimately good movie.
Yeah.
With what they're going for, I think it's a 3 out of 5 star movie. I think it's a good movie. I love they find this perfect meeting point of just
goofy
absurdity.
And yeah.
and actual, oh, this is kind of interesting, and I'm about to nerd out because Dwayne Johnson is about to fight Vin Diesel.
It's great.
I'm nerding out right now. They're both of them are definitely concussed and should be knocked out by this point, if not dead.
Absolutely. But they're Vin Diesel and Dwayne Johnson.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
I love that stuff.
Oh yeah.
But at a certain point, it just became absurdity.
Yeah, I like 6 and 7. Like they kind of walk the line where it's like it's absurd, but like it's still pretty watchable. Like 7 being like the pinnacle of that. We have like Dwayne Johnson flexing out of a cast and shit like that. But that one's like still kind of well put together, like actually kind of decent. And then once you hit like 8, it's just like it goes downhill from there. I will say I did enjoy 10 more than 9 though.
You enjoyed 10 more than 9.
10 was a mild rebound, but it wasn't that much better.
For me, what puts 9 over 10, and this is just because of how much I love the character, is the reveal of Sung Kang coming back.
That is true.
Han. But if I didn't have so much investment in Han, I would probably agree with you.
I think 10 is just, I think it's a lot more fun. It's more dumb, and I think it realizes it's more dumb than 9, and I think that makes it a little more enjoyable. Plus, you get Jason Momoa.
Sorry, boys, I'm having some problems. I know. I don't know if you just said this because I was focused on not trying to be an idiot, but which I focus on quite a bit, actually.
I'm surprised John didn't retort with a.
Yeah, I was trying to hold my tongue a little bit.
Hey, I'm trying to do it too. Okay, I'm trying to be a better person.
Now, a more genuine person.
I so wish that camera. I so wish that camera was in front of the door so I could just leave.
Sucker.
I mean, you can move the camera.
No, but then it just ruins the
immersion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could probably like pull a hammy doing it. So.
Oh. I see quick.
Brother, this guy stinks!
Thank you.
That's for you, John. I will say Jason Momoa is genuinely entertaining in 10.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think there's like parts of it that are super fun. Like, where just like it leans full into like its insanity, and Jason Momoa is like the pinnacle of that in terms of performances. I will say I definitely enjoyed it more than like Cocaine Bear and Flash, so I'll give it some props.
TJ's about to put it in good. No,
I'm not. It's a meh movie, but
does that mean we bumped those two down to the worst?
No,
not
yet.
But TJ, you're just saying it's in the same realm.
For me, it is.
Right.
I definitely don't think it's the worst of the year at all.
All right, fine. I'll agree. Put it in meh.
Yeah, I think it's like not great, but like it's not the worst.
Oh, and I should just follow up on the joke I made. So John, and for those that haven't seen it, Vin Diesel tries to go full on Marlon Brando in this movie. He is like, I'm about to act like no one has seen before.
Can we watch this movie tonight?
It is, when I tell you, it is cringe, John and audience. It is
pretty
just
bad.
It's so bad.
He's the worst part of the movie, and it's one of them. But like, it's everyone else is like, I'm in my Fast and Furious rhythm. I'm doing my thing, and then Vin Diesel comes out, arms swinging, trying to be serious, and it's like, dude, stop.
There's moments with his son where he's trying to get super intimate with him, and
not
it's
in that
just,
way.
It's like,
no, you know what I mean. Intimate in a father-son relationship.
well, like when you say Marlon Brando and like being intimate, I'm thinking like Italian. And then it just gets weird.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, it wouldn't be weird if Marlon Brando was just like, kiss his son on the cheek. But Vin Diesel is like, I don't know. There's some cultural boundaries there.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
He's trying to be intimate with his son in a normal father and son relationship.
No hate.
And it's hilarious.
It's so funny.
Oh, it's just, he's like, I'm about to dial it up to 100 and be Marlon Brando, and he's just not.
Yeah, sometime when we have like no brain cells, we gotta watch that sometime.
We've been on a good streak lately, though.
We have.
With, like, good movies.
That is
true. And that is saying something for the Housekeeping Cuetos. There was a time there where we hadn't seen a movie worth watching for, like...
a month and a half.
Yeah.
It was bad.
It was bad.
Before, we kind of used to go here and there. It would be a bad movie with we kind of go...
Spice them in.
Yeah, but every other... But we just, you're right. I think that's why we needed this streak of just good to great. Well, really great. I think great to fantastic movies.
Yeah.
Between Apocalypse. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, check this lineup. Check this out.
Oh no.
Lost in this is not in order because I'm just my timeline. I can't. I have problems. Lost in Translation.
Bars.
Apocalypse Now.
Bars.
Before Sunrise.
Bars.
Am I missing one?
Dune.
Sicario.
True. Sicario and Dune Part 2.
And Police Story.
And the original Dune. Or did you mean... That, honestly, was better than I thought.
Yes.
I'm going to give it credit here. It was not as horrible as I thought it was going to be.
Hold your thoughts for it. I mean, TJ and I did an episode on it, but hold your thoughts because I want to specifically talk about that movie in relation to this Part 1, Part 2. So hold your thoughts. That'll be... for the Dune Part 2 episode, which, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't checked that out, check it out.
What's the next movie you've seen? It's been a while since we've...
Honestly, Flowers of the Killer Moon.
Okay.
I think it was...
I was like, I can't tell if that was a joke or not.
Okay,
No,
let's...
That's...
So...
I was trying to ration them out, like, movies John's seen.
Yeah.
Since
Next up is Creed 3.
Yeah.
Which... Another movie we talked about recently on our Rocky rankings. We did plugging so many epissodes. We did a Rocky rankings episode. If you want to check that one out, go check it out.
Dude, so many links.
Yeah, the little I button keeps like popping up like every 20 seconds.
It's going crazy right now. It's going crazy.
Ad revenue goes insane.
Like we get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved Jonathan Majors in this movie.
Yeah.
The brotherly dynamic between the two was interesting. The cinematography and the editing for the fight scenes.
Awesome.
Whew.
I loved it.
My lord, that was incredible.
Yeah.
Basically what he did was he used a lot of anime editing and influence to creating the boxing fight sequences.
Really?
It was insane. That is a movie I would genuinely, I think we both would rewatch with you.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's awesome.
I've never seen any, honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a Rocky or a Creed movie.
Dude.
Like none.
Okay. Well, we know what we got to show you at some point.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was already on the list, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put it in good. We've talked about these movies in length.
Agreed.
All right.
Next, we have a movie that we haven't really talked about on the podcast, right?
No, we have not talked about this movie on the podcast.
Godzilla Minus One.
I'm gonna do that. Don't mind me. I'm gonna do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's. I see what you're doing. You're being nice to our guest. I appreciate that, TJ.
I try.
I'll let you start out with this, TJ, because you are I still thought it was a good movie.
I love this movie.
But TJ...
This is my movie of the year.
Actually.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
I loved Godzilla Minus One.
Okay.
I bawled my eyes out both times I've seen this movie.
Whoa.
I heard it was like surprisingly really good.
It's awesome. I love I think like I think it's also just like the refreshment of having a foreign blockbuster be big and not just like American blockbusters. But walking out of that movie, I was overwhelmed with emotion. And I love everything about it, writing wise. Actually, the writing, there's parts of it are obvious, but I don't mind it. I was so into it that I love it. But I think like the character writing and all that and the effects and just like the action and all that were just breathtaking. And I was like, for a Godzilla movie, this is leagues and bounds above any American adaptation, which I always laugh at the idea of a American Godzilla movie, but because it seems very ass backwards in my opinion, but
yeah, it's interesting when you, and we can bring actually Killers of the Flower Moon into this discussion. When you have directors or filmmakers of a different culture or ethnicity or race doing a movie about something that's inherently from a different race, or a story central to a different race, ethnicity, culture, whatever, them directing, shooting it, whatever, it's always an interesting subject because and everyone has different opinions. I for the most part agree with you, TJ. I think it was definitely my favorite Godzilla movie that I've ever seen, which is not a lot, but because there is a purity to it and there is an emotion to it that you can sense in the film that just isn't there with the American Godzilla movies, because Godzilla has this, again, grip on Japanese culture because of the atomic bomb and
the
World War
whole
II.
meaning of it is inherently Japanese.
Yes,
it feels very counterintuitive for Americans to adapt a very the most Japanese like storyline you could probably tell is told by Americans, and it hasn't worked both times they've tried it. I'm not to say that the 2014 one is bad, because it's not the worst. I'll give it credit. I don't mind that movie, but it's Japanese. Let it be Japanese.
I guess my finishing point, the only thing I would pull back on is, personally for me.
Oh yeah, go for it.
I don't think people should be of different, again, cultures, races, whatever, should be restricted from telling stories. From other people, but I do think there are levels to this. As I just ruined the audio.
It definitely depends.
And that's where I agree with you.
It depends on the story and like the way they tell it. Like I think the biggest thing with like the Americans ones is like, it's like Godzilla is like this big friendly guy and he's coming to like save America, and it's like, no, Godzilla terrorizes and murders tons of people in Japan.
Yep.
It's the exact opposite of what it should be.
The effects for this movie, given the budget, comparing it to Marvel budgets, is hysterical. Godzilla looks amazing in this movie.
Oh yeah.
There's such a precise, real quality to the visual effects that were done with Godzilla that I was more afraid of him than any other Godzilla I'd seen before.
Yeah. Well, he's like, he's very original style. He's very, like, he moves like original Godzilla. And also, like, the way he just like moves and all that, it actually strikes fear. And he isn't this big goofy wizard monster that just runs around and beats monsters up.
For sure.
That all the American things like to do. But I love this movie.
Where are you thinking it needs to be placed, TJ?
Personally, for me, it's the best. But
okay, I'll make a deal with you. Let's put the Iron Claw and Godzilla -1 at the best.
I was here for it.
Okay, let's do it. See, you got to play your cards correctly, right? You kind of got to choose when you want to push for your movie or your thing.
Oh yeah.
It's called strategy. Which
is it? I said I was lenient to it earlier. I was like, I would put it in there for you.
Boom, roasted.
I'm making this a bigger deal than it needs to be. But hey, it's podcasting. As I ruin the audio again.
God damn it, John.
I'm gonna set this down.
Killers the Flower Man.
John, speak. Muad'Dib, speak.
Oh, with my name is now a weapon.
Kwisatz Haderach, speak.
Silence. That was so
God.
cool. I cannot wait for this episode,
dude.
Plug.
More of it.
More.
We have so many counters now. I just plug.
Don't we have the ding sound now? What is that, 4? Plug number 4.
You could go on forever.
Yeah.
But there's 3.
Okay. I have a bone to pick with this movie. A 3.5 hour movie is not an easy movie to sit through. But I was there for it. I was gonna give Scorsese the chance I thought he deserved. I held on for every minute that he was trying to tell the story. I don't think he got nearly as far as he should have been with the audience, given that time frame. I think there wasn't enough progress in that amount of time, and I thought that honestly there wasn't any arc I could really pick out. It just seemed like a very static movie. I did not enjoy it personally.
I agree with that main sentiment you were talking about, where it seems like, given the time frame, this movie could have been told in a lesser time.
Oh no!
Oh, did you bring a charger, TJ?
I did.
Okay,
it's right by my
clutch. All right. Well, TJ figures out
You can talk while
his
you do this.
technological life. Yeah, I'm gonna talk.
Okay.
Jeez, I was getting to it, TJ.
I'm sorry.
Speak.
Okay, Muad'Dib.
Muad'Dib.
Yeah, I completely agree. Though I disagree when it comes to actual performances. For example, the Lily Gladstone performance, I'm glad we got that 3.5 hours because she was able to flush out her great performance. I hope she wins the Oscar. And the nuances of her, of just, because right, she doesn't have a lot of dialogue per se in the movie. It's really a lot of facial acting and her reactions to DiCaprio and his family and the malice things they're doing. Yeah. It gives us more time to see her performance, which I like. I like seeing how her facial expressions and how her opinions of the things that are going on are changing. And I think the 3.5 hours aids that. However, when it comes to the plot points, other things of that nature, I agree. Yeah. So I think it's a multifaceted response here that I'm saying, but I see what you're getting at.
Yeah, I agree pretty much with like a lot of the things you guys have said. Yeah, for being 3.5 hours, it could be a lot shorter, and I think for like a lot of it, like for being that runtime, you could do so much more in depth storytelling, but it feels very baseline Scorsese. It doesn't feel like he's doing a lot like new things with his storytelling or anything like that. So it's just like the same old Scorsese thing you see every time, which is kind of annoying in the sense that like you have this big runtime and you're hyping it up for that, and it's not that. But the performances are good. I like the story itself. I think it's a very interesting story, and it could undoubtedly use that runtime to be very interesting, but it's not as much.
A plot device that I think, or a section of the plot that I actually believe was aided and was important for the 3.5 was the FBI section. Yeah. I think by having the 3.5 hours, you can hold the FBI coming into the film till way later, right? They don't show up till about an hour left.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And when you have the 2.5 hours, you can give Lily Gladstone and the Osage and that whole very just unbelievably just sad and depressing events. You can really flush those out.
Yeah. Instead
of if you had a 2.5 hour movie and oh no, at the hour and a half mark, we got to bring in the FBI, because obviously they still are an important part of the film, obviously, right? This is the founding of the FBI. This is like the FBI's first big case, from my understanding. They were founded right then and there for this thing. I think that's also something I would kind of push back on with what you're talking about. But again, I think if you're looking at it, that there are parts that again don't need the 3.5, and I could see why you're saying maybe a 2:45 whatever minute or time movie, but I still think there are some things that I definitely see why this 3.5 hour movie is actually beneficial.
Yeah, I mean I think like it could have been very like, I think it just needed maybe like a rewrite or two, and it's like just like kind of flesh out some more ideas or like retract some more, just kind of like flesh it out a little better, and I think it could have been like a great way to use 3.5 hours. But.
So you think you're better than Scorsese? That's not...
No.
Wow, TJ.
I didn't say that at all.
Wow. Yeah, you did, TJ.
Yes, because I know how to write. But yeah, I think that's just like my thing was like I liked a lot of it in terms of like the I think like production wise, it's a beautifully put together film.
Yeah.
And like Scorsese really goes hard in that department, and he seems very passionate about the idea of the film and like the story he's telling. But it's just, I think the writing, I think it just needed like a little bit of restructuring at points.
Yeah, I think I like what you said about just flushing it out. I think you could just be more efficient with that time. Flush out kind of the superfluous and redone things, and go back to kind of like your main plot and build on that, because that could have been a really huge ending, I guess. I feel like it just kind of slowly built into kind of not
Somewhere.
so much. But I mean, I think John brought up a good point. I think like the main part of the story is really in the characters, and how they develop is a really cool thing to watch. I guess you just have to watch the movie with that lens, but I don't know. For me, I guess, yeah, the plot could have been.
So I want to go back to something you just said, which was, and I want you to clarify. So you're saying that it didn't end how it should have. You're saying it didn't use momentum to end, or what are you trying to say?
I guess it's not really the ending I'm concerned with. It's more, the in between, kind of just building on that main plot to make the end more significant, because with that foundation you can pack more of a punch in that end. But because we didn't really have that foundation set earlier in the movie, it was just kind of I mean, a very moving end, but not as powerful as it could have been.
I can't believe I keep pushing back on you guys. I'm going to push back on that comment too, John. I would say they did climax the movie with all the things that they were building prior. Like, because you have that, you get the relationship between DiCaprio and Lily Gladstone, getting that flushed out, because you have that time, and you have literal minutes, like literal, you have a ton of time with these characters because you have that 3.5 hour time mark, and his relationship with his uncle. So I think because there's so much screen time with them, I think it is able to pay off. One thing I think of, and quick spoilers, skip a minute if you haven't seen this, or if you haven't seen the movie. There's the scene where Lily Gladstone is with DiCaprio. I believe it's after the trial, and they're sitting in that room, or it's before the last trial, the last jury meeting.
I know what you're talking about.
And they're sitting together, and Lily Gladstone is doing her great facial expression. She's reading DiCaprio, right? And she's like, "What did you put in my insulin?" Right? That seems brilliant. It is great acting on both their parts, and that right there is one of the payoffs. That is one of the payoffs of the 3.5 hour movie. You're as an audience member, you're like, oh damn! Now she realizes that, because for a second you're like, oh well, maybe she sees his innocence in this whole thing, right? Because he wasn't really truly the driving evil force of this just terrible stuff that was going on, right? It was his uncle. That's when she realizes this is what you did to me was unforgivable, and you were had a bigger hand in this than you had. You had as much of a driving force in this as your uncle or whatever, and that's when you can see the relationship just sever, and it's brutal because you have that time, and that's one of those final scenes. So that's what I would push back on, John.
I agree with you there. I think it was a really powerful ending in that sense. I guess what I'm trying to say is that
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, it makes me. I have to adjust my wording. I think with, I think there were certain scenes where there wasn't too much going on to where they could have, I guess, packed more in to make that powerful scene that much more powerful. I guess not that scene in particular, because that was really well done. But I guess, I don't know, there were so many loose ends to tie up, which I believe, if I remember correctly, they tied up in the end. I think each one deserved its own powerful scene like that one. I think each of those scenes could have had that caliber if that foundation was set more efficiently earlier in the movie.
Okay. I see where you're coming from now. I semi-agree with what you're talking about. I think
That's all I need. I won.
I definitely think there are a few things that, if you want to especially get more into like the nitty-gritty, and I think you did a good job responding to my argument. I noticed you got a little more articulate there, and that's good. There are parts where I felt the same of, that loose end was tied up, but in a very sort of
rushed way.
But, and then of course you have things like I was saying, the Lily Gladstone DiCaprio scene in the room there,
which I totally forgot about, and that's
isn't that scene incredible?
It's a great
it's so good.
Like it reels you in. You're like, he's actually a good guy, and it's like,
nah, this dude's an absolute just.
He's an idiot.
He's an idiot.
Yeah.
Greedy son of a gun.
The last thing I'll say is I thought the way not the scene where they're all doing their dancing and things like that, the Native American, the Osage are, but the scene with the Martin Scorsese cameo where it's the FBI funded. What's the name of that thing they do? Where what do you call that?
Like was it like a radio show or was it like?
Yeah. I guess you're right. It was like a live recording of a radio show.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was an audience there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the scene with Jack White.
That's right.
I loved the way he ended it with that scene, because normally if you have a true story, it'll cut to credits and they'll do, in 19 whatever, this guy went into a nursing home and died there or whatever.
It'll all be text.
Yeah, it'll all be text. I thought that was a cool, fun way to.
It was a nice spin on that. I liked that.
To end it, yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun like little way to kind of articulate a new type of or an old idea that could be revamped. For
sure. Also, I thought it was funny that they said it was sponsored or funded by the FBI. That was a funny touch.
So good. Oh yeah.
My last comment is just that, for the negatives that we've expressed, if any filmmaker that gets a chance to make a movie that's this good, that would be their A-list movie, and that would be their masterpiece.
Yeah.
This is just Martin Scorsese's B movie or whatever you want to call it, and for that just shows you just how incredible of a filmmaker he is.
Yeah.
That's just insane.
Exactly.
There's only maybe, like, right now working, there's maybe 2 or 3 maybe directors that could make have a movie that like this that wouldn't be on their A-list. It's just not really.
Spielberg.
Yeah, Spielberg and I keep referencing Dune Part 2 and maybe Denis with his recent success.
Maybe
wouldn't be on his A-list. But other than that, this is just any other director. This would be his dream movie. Like this level of production and quality and greatness.
Yeah. So what are we thinking?
John, you haven't gone first with declaring where you think a movie should go. So you go. What do you think?
Honestly, I'd probably put it in good.
Oh.
I won't drop it to meh, but I don't think it's damn fine. Personally,
I think it's damn fine. So TJ, you're TJ.
Okay. I'd probably go damn fine personally, because I think like although it just needed like a little bit of like reshuffling of some stuff and like it's I mean it's very basic Scorsese, but I mean that's not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. I think it's such a well put together movie. But yeah, I'd probably put it there personally, but
let's do it. John?
Hey.
No,
Democracy.
That's right. That's right.
Democracy.
All right.
Dial of Destiny. Did you watch Dial of Destiny?
I did not.
Bro, I put this thing on Do Not Disturb.
Is it your phone?
No, that's on Do Not Disturb.
Okay.
What movie clip am I thinking of where he says something like that? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I put it on Do Not Disturb.
No, he said it would make more sense if I actually knew what I was. Forget it. That's not important.
Forgotten.
All right.
Did you see Dial Destiny, John? I can't remember what you
said
responded.
No.
You said
yes.
no.
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 Just switch it up. What's the third one?
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Mission Impossible.
Oh, I have seen that one.
Good.
We'll do that one later.
Yeah. We'll get there.
We'll get there. We'll get there when we get there.
I was very hesitant about this movie going into it because the fourth one was so meh that
You're
I
not
just...
a Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, like, stan.
We'll put it that way. Yeah. We'll put it that way. I was worried for this film, but to me, the heart and the addition of and the genuineness of the film plus Phoebe Waller-Bridges, that's her name, correct?
Yeah. Or something like that.
Those two additions, I think it's Bridge actually. I don't think it's anyway.
Fleabag Lady.
Yeah, Fleabag Lady. The addition of her and the genuineness for the character of Indiana Jones, those two things to me push this movie to be a good Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, I'd put it at like a good movie and just in general because I think although it has like it kind of slumps towards the finale and like I don't think that's like the best part. I think most of the movies like it's super fun and like it dials in on that like good Indiana Jones vibe. Yeah, you get like good performances and good action and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean the ending is not great.
No.
The last scene rebounds a little bit, but
yes.
The whole finale bit is not great.
No, there are some things with the character that I was just, this isn't you.
No.
It is you, but it also isn't you.
Yeah.
I just
It was all over the place.
But nailed it on the you just nailed it with the very, very ending scene sort of redeeming the end.
Yeah, it rebounds it a little bit and like
yeah.
it ties the movie together a little more, which I liked, but yeah, the finale is not great. I can't find myself, I can't bring myself to be like I at least enjoyed it. I'm like I can't. I was completely checked out. I was like, this part sucks.
Bottom line, TJ, would you agree that it is a worthy addition to the Indiana Jones franchise?
Yeah, I'd say so. For being like a long-awaited sequel, worth it.
Yeah, right. Of course, like it should be said too. It's hard to be a worthy addition when you have Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is one of the greatest written movies, like screenplays of all time. That's a screenplay that is studied in film school, and that movie is studied in film school.
When you have the original trilogy of Indiana Jones movies.
Facts. But it is a worthy addition.
Yeah. We're thinking good?
Yeah.
All right. I'm here for it.
Is your computer's still recording, isn't it?
That it is.
Oh, cool. So hopefully this... Yeah, so like we were saying earlier, guys, hopefully this works out, but you should be... Throughout this entire video, if you're watching on YouTube, you should be able to see in one of the corners of the screen the tier list as we're updating it.
Yeah. Dungeons and Dragons.
All I have to say is Chris Pine was enjoyable to watch, as he always is with those kind of roles. I mean, I could go on forever about him as Captain Kirk. I think we both could. He's awesome. So good in that role. Very enjoyable in this movie. Hugh Grant, enjoyable in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, there's not a whole lot that I was really liked about this movie.
Same. I thought it was mediocre at best. I was very excited to watch it. Chris Pine was good, like 7. I think like the cast had good chemistry, I guess.
Yeah.
And there was occasionally funny jokes, but like plot wise, I was like, I could not care about this movie. Meh.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible.
Mickey.
Michelin Impossible.
I was about to sing the Bond theme song for Mission Impossible.
You should have.
Da-da, 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 da-da.
this Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise takes on voodoo people.
Whoa there.
That came out a lot worse than I meant it to.
No,
Please cut that.
Okay, I will.
I didn't post.
I will. 108 mark. Got it.
Thank you.
Yeah. This movie is not as good as the movie prior to it, Fallout. I think Fallout is significantly better than this movie, but still just Tom Cruise at his peak, legend. Being a legend with his his acting performance is perfect for the role. Like, it doesn't have to be anything exceptional, but his stunt performance, just same level as it's been for the last few movies.
Oh yeah, it was a nice, fun new vibe for kind of the series. It had its own kind of identity, and I mean, the action's fun. The story's it has its interesting points, but yeah, I wouldn't say it's as good as like 4, 5, 6. Yeah, some of those, like some of the newer ones. But I mean, some of those scenes are just awesome. I mean, think about the alleyway fight all the time, and I'm like, bangers. Mm-hmm. You've seen it, right?
Yeah. The scenery is all I took away from that movie, and that is all I needed to. It was so gorgeous.
You go ahead. I just go ahead.
Gorgeous movie, and I don't know if this technically counts as a spoiler, so just be wary.
Okay,
audience.
Audience, skip a minute ahead if
maybe.
Just maybe.
Just the stunt in the train car where they're like falling off the cliff and he's like grabbing on to like one of the railings or something.
So good.
It was so, like, I've never been that on the edge of my seat for a scene before. That was like, that got me really hyped about the movie. So
yeah,
it's ditto to what you guys have been saying. My favorite action sequences are action sequences where things are getting in the way or constricting the fighters from doing things that they normally could be able to do. So alleyway and the train sequence, right? They're in a train car, they're restricted. Well, the train car is literally off the side of the bridge, I think it is, or cliff. And then obviously the alleyway, they're in a constricted space. Love fight sequences like that because it gets much more interesting. How are you going to combat this? How are you going to get around this? So much more interesting than just a fight sequence in a flat, open area, for the most part. I think I was going to say this earlier. I'm sorry, another plug. We did do an episode on Mission Impossible, this movie, 7, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mission Impossible 7. We have a whole episode on it. Please check that out.
And we ranked the movies after.
That's right, we did. Jam-packed episode. Please check it out. Excited for number 8 whenever it comes.
Eventually.
And I think this is, unless you guys have anything else you want to say, I think this is a good movie.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, shit, to be honest with you, man, it's a good one.
To be honest with you, man.
Barbie. The biggest movie of the year.
I'm just Ken. Anywhere else I'd be a 10.
God.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling.
Our Lord and Savior.
Our Lord and Savior, Ryan Gosling.
Literally me.
This movie, by the way, just so you guys know, I'm a misogynist. No.
Nice way to preface this.
Yeah, I gotta preface this. I'm actually a misogynist.
If you don't like this movie, you're a misogynist.
I thought it was a good movie, at least a good movie,
okay.
to an almost great movie. I kind of sit between good and great with this movie. I loved Margot's performance. Mm-hmm. Ryan Gosling was obviously just hilarious.
Just so funny.
He was so good.
So funny. If Robert Downey Jr. wasn't in the supporting actor lead in that category, honestly, if Ryan Gosling won, I would have been fine with that because it's just kind of he's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
And I think too, more comedic roles should be appreciated in the Oscars. It just doesn't happen. Comedic movies or performances. I loved the set design.
Mm-hmm.
Great. The whole plot I thought was more interesting than I thought it could have been.
Yeah.
There was definitely ways to make this film boring.
Yeah.
And for the most part, they managed not to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I do have my issues with things like Will Ferrell and his role in this whole thing, but very enjoyable movie. Soundtrack, great.
Yeah.
Aesthetic, great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything you want to grab onto from what I was saying, or if you think this is a masterpiece and...
No, I mean, like you were saying, set design was brilliant. The dance scenes were amazing. The choreography through all of it was
good touch.
just
Go hard.
brilliant. I saw no flaws in that. Color palette, everything. Yeah, it was just so visually pleasing. I guess plot-wise, I thought it was a lot more interesting than it could have been, although I had some reservations about the I guess the outrightness of it. Personally, I think implicit over explicit is much more powerful, to me personally at least. So I feel like they try to cover a lot of ground as far as, what was wrong with the world, as far as, gender roles, which is, I mean, a big topic, but I think how many topics they try to hit, I don't know if they bit off more than they could chew. I don't know if they could do that, though, because, in this context of, this basically alien to this new world being our world, Margot Robbie can ask those questions in a very explicit way. But I don't know. I felt like there could be more done than particularly said with these long monologues. Though I thought they were powerful, I just wasn't as moved as I think I could have been with something more action-oriented.
I think, TJ, you and I may have been having this exact conversation at least 1 or 2 episodes ago, which is you are totally right, John. That is a very common approach in storytelling, and multiple storytellers, both in the film world and in the literature world, have said as such, which is it should always be, I can't remember what terminology they use, but the message should always come second to the storyline. Right? Because that's when you get the subtleties, and when you don't force it so much to where it becomes a little too obvious and you're, oh, okay, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
By having those subtleties and then you're getting the showing, not telling, which is at this point just a cliche of writing stories, but you get that, you reach that level. And so I definitely agree, and I definitely knock it a little for that. I think there were so many chances for them to be more subtle. Well, simultaneously, I would say it also feels like that's kind of the character to kind of be less subtle. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, he kind of said, you hit on that a little bit.
You did, yes. I just like stealing stuff from you.
Yeah, get wrecked.
True.
But I guess I said it just to be a little bit, to just further your point and kind of highlight it a little more. Because I think it's, what you said was great. I can't believe I said that.
I can't believe you said that either.
That is wonders for the audio.
Yeah.
I
think it ultimately I land on where it should be, or where it should kind of be a mix of both. Thoughts, TJ?
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, just overall, real quick. I mean, like, I think a lot of what you guys have said is very fair for the movie, and I mean, like production wise and performance wise, like it has a good cast to it. It's an amazing cast. And I mean, the leads for it are all super funny, and they all deliver like very well done performances. But yeah, writing wise, I mean, it's a very powerful movie, I think, and I think that was like one of the big things about it was like, societally, a lot of people were like, this movie talks about tons of stuff that, I mean, nothing else could. But and like, I think there is something to its very brashness to it, just like we're gonna ask it and we're gonna talk about it just the way it is. I like that, but there are parts of it where it's like, all right, not everything has to be so overly explained. You can use a little subtlety and it won't kill the audience. I think that was like part of it, where it was like at one point they kind of just said the same thing like 10 times, and I was like, all right, subtlety, it exists. And I think that was like my biggest gripe with it, was that like it never took a moment to be like, we're going to slow down, we're going to just like not be very brash for a minute. And like, it was very brash for like 2 hours, and I was like, all right, chill. But I do like the movie, and I think like, I mean, everyone I've talked to about it loves it, and I think like the message of it is very important, and I very much love it for that. But yeah, I think it's just like the way it's constructed in its message is occasionally a little too much.
Mm-hmm. Where do you guys think we should put it?
The biggest movie of the year.
Who hasn't gone first? Oh, TJ, I don't think you've gone first yet, have you?
I don't know.
Oh, you go first then.
I put it in damn fine, personally.
Okay. It's kind of weird. I kind of put it in the space between. We don't have one, but in between good and damn fine, if there was one.
Spot.
Yeah. So let's jump on TJ's boat.
Yeah.
And let's put it up to
beef up the damn fine section.
Yeah.
All right. Oppenheimer.
I
had to put Barbie and Oppenheimer next to each other.
Yeah, it's only right, TJ.
It's only right.
It's only right.
I thought the same thing. I was like,
now, we did an episode on Oppenheimer with this really weird kid, and he really didn't add that much value to it, but I still think TJ and I produced a good enough episode to get out what we wanted to say.
I almost forgot I was there. I was like, wait, are we actually just roasting some kid right now that's not in the room? I was like, okay, chill, John.
Jesus.
I totally forgot I was in that episode. Yeah. Classic.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Oppenheimer though.
I mean, what's not to like about this movie? It's just
it's a banger.
It is. It's going to win
pretty much everything.
Everything.
If it doesn't, I'm gonna be pretty upset.
Yeah, and I know
peeved.
Cillian Murphy, just one of those great performances where, like Emily Blunt and Sicario, but to an extreme, where we get to see an actress react to the things that are going on and the things that maybe they're causing as well. But seeing his reactions to everything that's going on is just, it's incredible stuff.
Oh yeah.
To the reactions of the Trinity test and the way that the whole thing's being run and the after effects and the security council that's interviewing him. I love those kind of performances. Yeah. They're not super loud, but you have to be very meticulous in your acting to really hit on the way humans would respond in those situations. Oh, by the way, just real quickly, because I'm already there pretty much, just a little gabagool, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. Anyway. Yeah, Cillian's great. Well, obviously RDJ, just another level. There were so many just small parts, too, that I was struck by. Alden Ehrenreich was spectacular in the little bit that he had. I remember the hype for him before I watched it, and I was like, okay, I don't think he's in it for very much. Watched it, he wasn't, but very well done performance.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go on. What do you guys want to hit on?
I mean, there's so much you could hit on in this movie. There's so much. I don't know. I mean, highlight, like you said, Cillian Murphy and all actors involved. I was not pulled away from that movie for a second. I think one of the most powerful scenes in, cinema history that I've seen. So not much, but, the blast. That's what the movie was building up to, and it did not disappoint.
So good.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these movies like we've talked about in length just multiple times, and like I mean, we just like it's such an impactful movie, and like I mean, it's Nolan being a legend for 3 hours.
I could have said it better myself.
Yeah, and yeah, him and Killian just going hard, and like Killian actually being the lead for a movie, like or one of his movies at least, and not disappointing, and probably giving like one of the best performances in a Nolan movie. I mean, if not the best, which I mean is a high bar. You got some good performances. Yeah, it's a fantastic movie.
It is. I think it has to go the best.
I was gonna say,
100%.
Yeah. I think it's just impossible not to put it there.
There we go.
Okay. Now we might as well just put this one at the best too while we're at it. Quantumania? Can't we just put it right there, TJ? At the best?
Did you see this, John?
No, I do not want to.
Okay. We don't have to spend a ton of time with this.
No, I think we've talked about it.
Yeah, all I will say is that Jonathan Majors was pretty much the only redeeming quality of the movie.
Yeah, I don't think I laughed at like more than once. It was one of the most painful Marvel movies that I've ever watched. For me, I think it's probably the worst movie out of these.
Yeah, but do you want to go? Do you want to go the worst?
For me, it is.
Oh, I'll join you with that. Let's do it.
Straight up, it's not good.
No,
I didn't like it.
Oh man,
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Bro,
I think just slide this on up. Just.
We have an episode on that, don't we?
We do.
Have to.
Oh, of course we do.
Yeah.
Oh, we love this movie.
What? Okay. Talked about snubs earlier with Zac Efron. How did this movie not go up for Best Picture?
Are you kidding me?
Nope. Didn't go up for Best Picture.
I'm gonna riot, dude. This.
Well, we know why. It's because the Oscars have a thing against animated movies at this point. I think that's confirmed.
I think just against good movies.
Honestly.
Oh my god. Sorry, I need to let that set in for a little bit.
I know. Don't worry. I'll talk so you can just sulk and just, bro, what just happened? Nothing. Just there's. I have zero critiques of this movie. It's just
so good.
It's perfect. They built off of things that they established in the first one. The relationship wise, they took the. Somehow they took the animation to another level.
Yeah.
By like changing frame rates and things like that, which is insane. Or I don't know what the term is, but you know what I'm talking about, where they change the rate of like the animation speed.
It'd be frame rate.
Yeah, frame rate within other animations. It's just I didn't know that was possible, or that you could enhance what you did the first time, but I guess you did. We have a great third movie on our hands with where this one left us.
The hype is real.
Hype is so real.
And I think we could have gotten it this year in like 2 months.
Do you know when they pushed it back to?
I think it's indefinite right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
I would have been so sad though if they pushed that thing out so fast and it was just a bad ending.
Facts.
That is true.
So disappointed.
A year before it was pretty quick turnaround anyway. I mean, I bet they have a decent amount of it done, but like, I mean, like I remember them saying like we don't even have anything recorded voice line wise. I'm like, dog, you have 6 months.
Boys, I think now you two need to discuss briefly.
Yeah.
Because the episode has been we've been going on for a while now, but briefly discuss Five Nights at Freddy's and The Boy and the Heron.
Okay.
Yeah.
And be sure to tell the audience where you guys think they should fit here.
Well, I didn't know John was joining us, so I didn't have the ability to put in posters.
How come you didn't have the foresight for that, TJ?
I'm sorry. I'm an idiot.
He didn't drink the water of life.
The amount of Dune references.
It's insane. Oh yeah, but Five Nights at Freddy's and Boy and the Heron. Movies that John and I saw while other John was at college.
At college.
At uni.
Freaking thing.
FNAF, the ultimate just disappointment for what it could have been. There's no scene of him literally just looking at cameras. you know, the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sure, he looked at like this group of cameras, but nothing was like really moving as it should be. It was so cartoony, and they didn't full send in either direction.
No.
They were tiptoeing in the PG-13 direction and tiptoeing in the PG direction.
Yes.
And if they went with one of those, it would have been so much better, but they were trying to make it this menacing thing, PG-13, but it was just a tease and ended up just being some, I guess, spooky-ish PG movie.
It's really weird.
Not.
Yeah. The weird thing is, like, the guy who made the games, or, like, he, like, was one of the co-writers of the movie. And Dog was, like, so wanting to do, like, video game lore instead of just, like, telling a decent movie idea, keeping it super simple, that it's not good. It's kind of ass.
Yeah.
It's not the worst movie because it does have some enjoyability to it, and the stupidity.
Yeah.
I'd put it in meh.
Yeah. Yeah, meh.
On the other hand,
The Boy and the Heron.
that.
Yeah. Did you just watch the subbed?
Yeah, I only watched it with you.
Okay. I went to go watch it again with the dubbed. Also incredible. But no, I think that's like a top 10 movie for me.
Ever?
Ever.
Whoa.
It was so moving in the most ambiguous way possible. It still perplexes me to this day. So
It's so good. Yeah, animation wise, I mean, oh my god. I mean, Spider-Man being in this year, I was gonna say it's the best animated movie of the year, but I mean, Spider-Man definitely puts a damper on that. But I mean, for like a true like animation sticking to one style, I think that's like easily one of the most like beautiful in that respect of the year. I mean, voice acting and writing wise and all that, fantastic movie.
brilliant.
Where are you guys gonna put it?
All up to you, baby.
Oh, the best.
I'm here,
Easily.
I'm so here for it.
Easily.
We'll figure out a way to put this visually on there.
Well, I mean, we don't have to, you know.
We could just use white Comic Sans text.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Beans.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is our tier list for the movies of 2023.
Yeah.
But a tradition that I'm trying to maintain, which I've been doing poorly of, is trivia. So we're going to end the episode with some trivia for you two, and then I'm going to hand the book to John or TJ, and they can give me a question. So, John is our guest. You can go first.
Okay.
I'm going to find a question for you.
Oh, yeah. I guess while he's looking, what's just a random question about the year of 2023? Most surprising movie? I don't know.
Ooh, that's a good question.
And while you're at it, most disappointing?
Most disappointing, Killers of the Flower Moon. I thought it would have been like legendary.
Mm-hmm.
So my expectations, I think, were just too high for that movie going in. So I set myself up for failure. But most surprising, that's a good question. Because I knew Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse was going to be God tier. Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan, God tier. That's a good question.
John, John, just looking through the book, you got anything?
Oh, yeah, okay, I got one.
Okay.
I assume you've seen Ferris Bueller, yes?
Yes.
Okay. What is Ferris Bueller's key to faking out parents? His parents, I think it should say. But anyway. A fever. B, clammy hands. C, stomach cramps. D, vomiting.
I think it was the clammy hands because his mom touches him with like the water. I think it was clammy hands.
Yeah, good. Got that. I was going to say I could totally see you go triangle fever.
Yeah, no, because that's kind of what it insinuated, but I guess.
Yeah.
We don't fake a fever because that's when your mom takes you to the doctor's office.
Oh, I totally forgot that bit.
Yeah. I watch that movie too much.
It's so.
I think about it daily. John, do you? What was your most disappointing and surprising movie?
I didn't realize this, but that lady in the middle, this is kind of random, is in Roadhouse. She's the main, she's the girlfriend of Patrick Swayze.
God, I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Anyway, that's kind of random. My most surprising movie was... It might be The Iron Claw, just because of how much...
You loved it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
It's... Dude, top 2 sports movie for me. And I've seen a lot of sports movies.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like... It's tied with Field of Dreams. Fact. Like, serious. So I would say that. Okay. Of course, I'm trying to find a hard one for TJ, but it just... I don't want to look forever. So... Okay, sure, let's just this one. The importance of a baseball featuring the signature of blank is hotly debated by the players in 1993's The Sandlot.
Oh, it's Babe Ruth.
Yes.
I watched that movie a lot as a kid.
Okay, here, you got to find one for me, TJ.
Okay. What was your most disappointing movie, though?
Most disappointing? Honestly... I might go Quantum Mania because I thought there were some redeemable qualities to it that could have actually been good, but it just wasn't. I thought there was some things that they could have. I remember talking to you about it, TJ, probably on the podcast, of just I could see them taking this and flushing this out from the other movies to then make this relationship meaningful or something along those lines. But it never panned out.
Yeah, totally fair. Put all the Indiana Jones films in chronological order. In world chronological order. That's what I'd say.
Oh, world chronological order. Okay.
This was written before Dial of Destiny.
Okay.
So.
Temple of Doom.
Correct.
Raiders.
Correct.
Last Crusade.
Correct.
And King of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
I forgot that for the longest time. Oh, do you know why they wanted to go prequel for that?
I have no clue.
Because I haven't watched it in a couple years, 3 years. But from my understanding, it's not a super important piece to the plot.
No, I kind of think it kind of just happens.
Yeah.
I have another Indiana Jones question.
Okay.
What's the name of the club from Dial of Destiny? Or not Dial of Destiny. Temple of Doom.
Oh, I'm not gonna get that.
It's called Obi-Wan.
Oh. Interesting. All right. Good trivia session, boys. Now, we've teased it enough, but I have in my hands
Das Dunage.
Dune. Oh, I can't even tell if it's there, but it's there. We're going to be talking about Dune Part 2. Whole episode just on Dune Part 2. It's going to be incredible. We're so excited. Phenomenal film. We can't wait to dive into it.
Oh.
Thank you.
John.
One last thing.
Sorry. Go ahead.
We never asked TJ what his most disappointing film was.
Well, do we need to ask TJ, though? I mean, we don't really care about him. Okay, go.
You're being genuine.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
What is it, TJ?
My most surprising was Skinamarink. I loved that movie.
Heard good things about it.
I would. That's like one of the only few movies in the last little bit that actually genuinely scared me. And then my most disappointing, I don't think it's a bad movie, but I think it was a wasted potential. Evil Dead Rise.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, no, I don't think it's bad, but for what it is, it does the thing that I absolutely hate in those kinds of movies, where it's like they set up 25 Chekhov's guns within like 5 minutes, and I'm like, dog, this doesn't make it interesting anymore.
Actually, I think my most disappointing movie of 2023 was Ghosted. It's an Ana de Armas, Chris Evans rom-com movie, basically. Rom-com action movie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very odd.
Okay.
I've yet to watch it.
Yeah, it's
by the guy who did Rocket Man.
Yeah, which is weird.
Oh, Dexter.
That'll do for this episode. Thank you, everyone, for watching or listening to this episode. And just follow us on socials, Instagram, listen to us wherever, as I've said, to open this episode. And we'll catch you on the next episode of the Manic Movie Misfits podcast. Peace. And lastly, thank you, John, for being on the episode.
You're thanking yourself? That's pretty narcissistic.
All right, we're done. We're gone. We're gone.
Cut the camera as well.